your guide to the truth. thenewamericanmedia.com.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, to be specific. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Agree to Disagree here on the TNAM radio network here at thenewamericanmedia.com. My name's Brian Engelman. I'm your host, as I have been for the past 6 years. Oh, my Lord. Coming up on May Day, we're going to have our 6-year anniversary. Special thank you to Sean Flynn, Ted Distel, Chris Engelman, Blake Wally, all of the amazing people who have made the New American Media what it is today. So many people to thank. And I'm really happy that you have all been on this journey with us. It's been a fun, strange trip. And if you're recently familiar with us, I want you to go back over these past 6 years. Just scroll through some of our shows. There's a lot of interesting conversations in there. We try to leave cookie crumbs, bread trails, nuggets of information where you can go continue to do some research. Yeah, you know, we cover a lot of different topics, and not everything is for everyone. And that's fine. That's totally fine. No sweat there. But if you're new to the program, click subscribe on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at American_media_. Definitely on Facebook. Search The New American Media. You can also grab our Twitter and Facebook feed right off of thenewamericanmedia.com. On the right-hand side of that page is where you can click play to listen live to this program every time we go live. Gets a little button right there, and you check it out. It's that easy. Instagram.com/thenewamericanmedia. That is an awesome page. If you're not following it, you're missing out. Really good stuff. If you didn't catch our recent programming, we talked with John McAfee about the WikiLeaks Vault 7 leak. It's one of those vindicating moments, just like when Edward Snowden came out and you went, aha, I knew I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat. I know this stuff's been going on, and the people calling me crazy, they're just ignorant. It doesn't mean dumb, it just means they're unaware of what's going on. And you go, okay, great. I don't feel so weird. You know, Laura Eisenhower, our guest today. You may have heard of Ike Eisenhower. Down the road, down the lineage a bit with Miss Laura. Warning about the military-industrial complex. Where are we at today? Are we in Orwell's world? Is this straight out of 1984? Are the televisions watching you? Guess what they are? It's called Weeping Angel. And it's ridiculous that we've allowed it to get to this point. There needs to be a watchdog over this. There needs to be some sort of guidelines that cannot be crossed. We're in a brave new world, people. What kind of world do you want it to be? Well, we've done a couple shows with Laura Eisenhower. She was gracious enough to give me a reading. She does give you people readings, so if you're interested, hit her up. Contact her through Facebook. She's always on Facebook. Definitely been an interesting read the past couple of days, Laura. But yeah, she was gracious enough to give me a reading in the past, and we've done shows with her in the past, and some of those were maybe a little bit more focused on military-industrial complex, because today, what I'm going to try to do, at least, whether I'm successful or not, I have no idea. This is what happens when you're your own producer. What is that? The best laid plans of mice and men, or what's that phrase? Who knows? But I'm gonna try to stick to the topic of true healing today. I'm gonna try. Now, of course, I might bring up some other stuff, but I'm gonna try. So, if you want some of those other shows, check those out. They're in the archives. Go to YouTube, check them out. But we're gonna try this topic today. And we're going to mix it up. Oh, come on, who am I kidding? Seriously, I'm not even going to pretend at this point. Because she did a show with us. A very interesting Hillary Clinton show prior to the election, by the way.
Hello, is this Brian?
Is this Laura?
Yes, this is.
How are you, and welcome back. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, good to be here.
Yes, it is. It is good to have you. Welcome. I was saying that we're going to try to stay focused on true healing today, but maybe we'll start with it to make sure we get some good work in, and then we can go off-roading for a little bit is what I'm thinking. But before we even get to that, well, before we even get to that, I want to talk about contact in the desert. This thing is something that's going on. This is coming up, about a month or two away. Something that people should be thinking about if they're interested in seeing you do your lectures in person. Tell us a little bit about what else you have planned for the summer, by the way, if people missed you at Conscious Life and want to catch in with you at other places.
Right. Well, I will be speaking at the New Living Expo in San Mateo, California, and that's at the end of April. I'll also be going to Poland. That will be in April as well. That will be right before the New Living Expo. And, I'm about to go somewhere. Well, I'm doing a series of interviews right now. But let's see, the first week of April, yeah. And contact.
Yeah, can we tell people? Can we tell people about the interviews that you're doing right now? Are you ready? Are you telling people about what those are?
Well, I'm doing a big documentary series, and I'm also interviewing for Ancient Aliens, and I don't know if I'm able to say much more than that, but Contact in the Desert, I'm doing a New Living Expo are the ones that are more public, that are more accessible, that you all should sign up for. The website for San Mateo, I think is done, and then Contact, I'm doing 3 different things. So, yeah, and my book's coming out. So Laura, which is me, is still making lots of noise here, and it's great to connect with you, Brian. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's great to have you back, and at this Conscious Life Expo, when you go to these events, Laura knows because she's done a bunch of them at this point, but you can't do everything. You can't see everybody you want to see. You can't have the conversations you want to. You can't check out everybody's lecture at the same time. There's so much happening, so you get different experiences every time you go to these things, and they're great. I love festivals. I love concerts. I love conventions like this. I love it. I love the energy of it. It's so interesting. So I have seen Laura give her presentation in the past. Different presentation every time, and it is something that you need to check out. So yeah, check out some of those that Laura mentioned. And by the way, now you can use this as something, Laura, that you can send out to all of your fans as a reminder, as a little advertisement to bring them out and check out what you're working on. So yeah, good luck with Ancient Aliens. That's definitely one of my favorite programs of all time. I think it's one of the most important series that's come around in the past 4 decades. I think it's that big. So good luck with that.
Yeah, no, it's breakthrough show for sure. I'm pleased to be invited back. I don't know which series. I don't know when it's going to air, but I'm flying. I believe it's Thursday, so I'll be polishing the tongue, the lips, and the teeth exchange so that everything, flows off my tongue.
La 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 la.
Maybe I won't talk so fast. Who knows? I might surprise everyone.
Oh, that would be very out of character. That'd be interesting. Laura at a moderate pace. We'll see how it goes. Well, hey, look, I want to try to stay focused, at least the beginning part of this, now that we've told everybody where to go find you. I want to start with true healing. You were on a recent, not recent, this was a while ago, but you were on one of our more well-received and well-listened to programs when we were talking about the 2016 election. And regardless of how things have shaken out since then, we are a country that still kind of has this post-election, maybe a frustration, or some are gloating, some are frustrated, some are angry still. And when you said that you wanted to talk about true healing, I said, wow, that would be great for our country. I'm sure it would be great for our planet too, but tell us about why you're trying to focus on true healing right now.
Well, this is funny, because you're the one I did an interview with where not too long afterwards it said, a vote with Hillary is a vote for the dark side. or
It's a contract with the dark side. Yes.
Right?
Indeed.
And that was classic. So grateful because it was right before the election, and I was like, okay, this is having a bit of a ripple effect. I can feel it. And you politely said, should we change the title? And I was like, I have a feeling we sort of co-created this. It's perfect.
Yeah, we did. They were your words. It was after I was editing the show in post-production, kind of putting it all together, and that was a quote that I had written down and circled that came out here, and I said, wow, I think you said a vote for demonic Hillary is a contract with the dark side. And I went, oh, that's good. That is good.
Right.
But then you're right. I did ask you. I came back. I went, wow, this is pretty aggressive. Are you cool with this? Because I can tweak it if you want, but I think this is pretty good.
Oh, that was very sweet of you. And then I was like, no, let's do it.
Yeah, we were in it together at that point.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying we're in it together at that point. Go ahead.
Yeah, completely. And as I say it, I almost sound like a demon voice, but I don't mess with people against their will, and if I screw up, I do say I'm sorry, and I'm not perfect.
Exactly.
I mean, this is the thing, it's integrity. So, when we look at healing, what does that mean? Well, we all got to kind of step back and look at our agreements and look at ourselves. And I think, the election gives us the opportunity to do that. Trump puts his foot in his mouth all the time. And Hillary looks like a very promising thing, for the planet because she's a woman. Put those two together and what do you get? People like you and me who are going to speak the truth, right?
I have to.
Me too. And it's the frequency I chose to incarnate on. It's the only one that will keep this physical body alive. So it's not about right or wrong. It's just about doing my best with the downloads and with the information and with the way it all kind of feels.
I want you to expand on that. Explain what you mean by the frequency you chose. Now, is that the frequency you chose or the frequency we all chose?
Well, okay. So when I mean frequency I chose is a little bit different than maybe the one I'm vibrating at. The one I choose is the truth frequency. The one I'm vibrating at might be, have you checked your email lately? Do you realize that you left your wet shorts in the trunk and they're going to grow mushrooms? I mean, that kind of stuff I might miss. But I am committed and devoted to the truth frequency. My vibration must be playing with that as another instrument in the orchestra without creating friction. But it doesn't mean I'm always going to play the loudest. And it doesn't mean, there's a certain way it needs to be done. It's an activation. And this is what it's all about as far as like our DNA. Everybody holds a truth frequency. It's not for some and only a few get it and, everybody else doesn't. It's what we're made of. We carry this divine blueprint and this template. Yes, there's facts, there's things that have been hidden from us, but the truth frequency is the song that we choose to play. The feeling of, being able to be ourselves and being able to give ourselves that permission is the ultimate step into our sovereignty. But we got to be willing to look at the darker stuff so that we can know where we've been duped.
Yeah, this system, the power and control grid, it's been in place for a very long time, and I think the brand new unexpected wild card that got turned up in this game of poker, the wild card that got turned up is the internet. The people that have run this planet for a very long time have gotten by crafting the story that we were supposed to believe when it came to foreign conflicts and war and all of the main things that, our parents and grandparents, down to Ike Eisenhower, warning of the military-industrial complex, mind you. The internet now it's exposing fake news. More than ever before, the lies are not holding. When we hear stories and it doesn't quite fit the smell, it doesn't quite pass the smell test, it doesn't really fit with our logic, we're investigating and we're shining sunlight onto the cockroaches right now. And they're scrambling, Laura. I feel like they are. I could be wrong. Are you feeling that way too?
Yeah, the cockroaches were feeling pretty badass, because they're like, oh, yeah, we just show up, you guys leave food out on your counter, and we got these, antennae, and you think, you just escort us out the door, but yet you shrill like a little girl. And what's up with the different sizes and the huge population that feeds on bat guano.
Yeah.
Probably albino cockroaches in some, country that. So anyway, we're in a frequency of actually victory and truth, but we don't, we don't want to get cocky here.
No, I don't think we are, but I think from time to time, look, I'm a Cleveland Cavalier fan. In my entire lifetime, my Indians, Cavs, and Browns have never won a championship. Last year, LeBron James came back from a 3-1 deficit to the team that had the best regular season record of all time. You know what? I flew back to Cleveland, Ohio, where I was born and raised, so that I could be a part of that 1.6 million or however many people packed downtown to celebrate. There are some times to celebrate. I think it's a far cry, like you said, from being cocky. But I think from every now and then, I think we have to celebrate some of our accomplishments. Otherwise...
Did you see the pun, cockroach, cocky?
Yes, I did. Okay, there are parallels. I'll give you that.
I didn't even mean it. Yeah, so you were supporting, I wouldn't say the underdog, but you're passionate about the team, right?
Yeah.
You believe in it.
Yes.
Doesn't matter how big or small.
You got it. You got it.
Sound like I'm yelling?
What's that?
Does it sound like I'm yelling? I don't mean to. I'm just on speaker here.
Oh, maybe a little bit, but it's actually okay. It's coming through fine on my side, as far as I can tell. No, but no, you're right. I don't want to get cocky either, because the bad guys are always going to be bad guys doing bad things. There's really not too much time to rest on your laurels, and I don't feel like I have. I think I turned a little bit of my attention away from politics and the daily rigmarole of that nonsense. I think that world can really drag you down, and there's still a part of me that while I'm thrilled Hillary, a restraining order was placed between her and the White House, thankfully, I know that things are going to keep happening, and part of me doesn't really think there's much of a difference between Republicans and Democrats. However, with this president, some people think that this is different.
Well, you can rest on your laurels, because my name is Laura, and I can tell you, y'all can rest on me. I'm telling you, it's a freaking victory. The Clintons and the Bushes are out of the freaking White House. Okay, you and I didn't talk on radio since Trump won, have we?
No, we haven't. We haven't. And we barely had time to say hi to each other at the expo. I saw you at the Jordan Maxwell thing for a couple minutes, and I mean, we're both running in different directions. No, I haven't talked with you in about a year, up until Conscious Life.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, it's all in sort of the play on words. Yeah, we're not going to get cocky, but and whatever about resting on your laurels, well, you can rest on Laura. I mean, not everybody, because then I might suffocate. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm just really proud of us, and you've done amazing. So thank you for all, that you just never stopped doing interviews. And you interviewed me, quite a while back before I started getting all international.
Yeah, I know. It's all part of the same thing. We're all coming up together. I'm telling you, Laura, I think this new breed, of, 20, 30, 40-something-year-olds, I think it's maybe those 3 decades of people, whether you call it millennials and Gen Xers or whatever, the new batch, the new media, the new American media, the crew that's coming up right now. You know, to use the basketball analogy, my friend Zach, he's worked in an NBA as a scout before, and so he'll work with the high schools, mostly the colleges, and you track the players, and you say, ooh, this is going to be a really good draft coming up. There are like 6 amazingly talented players that are difference makers, all-stars, right off the get-go. I think there are so many people coming up at the same exact time, Laura. There's a new batch of people that are going to take over the airwaves, aka the internet, and it's going to be a bright day for the new American media. I am so happy to have been born at this point, and I just always think, what would Ben Franklin be doing with Twitter right now? What would Thomas Paine be doing with Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube right now? And I just go, all right, step up your game, figure out more, do more, talk to more. So, you know, it's we're all on the same team, I think.
Yeah. Well, you seem like you've been there from the beginning and eternally useful, and you have like a union that is beautiful, and you empower everybody, and you got that spark. So I'm really excited. And so it's cool because it seems like the San Mateo Conscious Life Expo, the New Living and Conscious Life Expo, are intermingled on some level, but yeah, Contact's going to be huge. Contact always is huge. I've been with them for the beginning, and I'm honored they keep inviting me back.
I've never been to it, and I looked at the lineup and went, "Oh my Lord, is this like a whole month worth of stuff, or this is a couple of days?" Wow! So I put it on my calendar. You know, this one really looks good, and plus I haven't been camping in a while, so maybe I think we all need that from time to time. Disconnect from the electronics a bit.
Let's all rent a huge RV and have it be a big media thing. Okay, don't tell anybody I told you that might be a good idea.
Shh, I won't tell a soul until I post it, I swear. It is really happening, though. I mean, we are 1 degree of separation from everybody on the world. If you can speak their language, you can send them an instant message. I mean, this world is so interconnected. We get to jump in and out of everybody's life, everybody's world. There are no barriers or limitations right now. We have the ability to communicate any message possible, and if people like it, it resonates. You know, the interview I did with John McAfee last week, my Lord, with the WikiLeaks revelation, with Vault 7, with all of the information that came out, I was saying in the intro, Laura, that it was one of those vindicating moments where finally I got to, puff my chest out, stand up a little taller, and say to all of you people who said that I was a tinfoil hat-wearing kook, did you see the WikiLeaks dump with what the CIA's been doing with your TVs watching you and listening to you? Did anybody see that?
Okay.
Perfect. I'm going to just take a moment and enjoy this because it's a long time overdue.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to go into YouTube and find our video in like 2010 or 11. You're a natural, and oh my gosh, you should totally puff it up. Look at nature. Look at like freaking, what are they called? Pufferfish or penguin. Well, the penguins, their journey is insane. But I mean, like the frigate birds, the ones that.
All right, now I'm thinking peacock. You're thinking peacock, strutting around.
I was like, maybe I was afraid to say cock again. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's the 3rd time, Laura. This is getting ridiculous. I hope you don't root for South Carolina.
But do you see how careful we are? I was like, I have peacock. I have. We're discerning even to ourselves, everyone. We don't want to overdo it here. But peacock, yes, Brian Engelman, just saying.
One and the same.
Proud of yourself.
Yeah, well, I thought that was NBC. That is their logo, after all. And man, Laura, did you notice that during the election that the media, the gloves came off? Like the media was imploding on itself, finding out their fake news?
Well, first off, their lingo didn't do the peacock justice. Yes, it totally imploded on itself. Trump imploded on, itself in a way, and it goes down to the poker game. And that's where we got to pay attention to these words. Clinton got trumped, but then where do we go? She just got trumped. It doesn't mean that Trump should lead the American people in the human race, but Hillary needed to get Trump, and Trump was the man.
It was stunning. Not a lot of people saw it coming. I'm surprised it was theoretically as close as it was, but I mean, you see what's happening though. It's really trying to suck us into some sort of global conflict with Russia. They were trying to do it to get us to fight Russia in Syria. You know, so the media companies are still pushing like this global clash. You know, there are still forces that are powerful, but I feel like they're whining in the corner, and the parents have tuned them out at this point. Are you getting that vibe?
Yeah, I mean, we're not supposed to need to like Trump. Let's just take a deep breath. It gave us a chance to take a deep breath. You know, Eisenhower gave us a chance too, but in a different way. I'm not even remotely comparing them. But when he exposed the military-industrial complex, I mean, there was a lot of deeper layers going on. You know, when we look at the extraterrestrial component, the Nordics, the Greys, the reptilians, the agendas, the Anunnaki, the pre-Adamic races, you know, Adamite races, the subterranean cultures, what's happened to our DNA and who we are as humans. But these are all moments that we can just catch our breath. But we don't want to burn the next breath out with expecting that any one of them is going to get a clue. I mean, this is where we got to continue to build unity consciousness.
And I guess that is part of the true healing then.
Yes, and they might get a clue, but let's not count on it. I mean, this is our opportunity. This is our chance as sovereign beings, as individuals, and as sovereign beings. What happens? We create, we unite, we partner. You know, we're stewards and guardians of Gaia, and nothing but magic happens when we recognize this about ourselves.
All right, so what do we do with it now? I gotcha. I'm hearing you. I like it. It makes sense. I'm down. How do people start to take control of their lives if they feel, that they need to get some healing out of the way? If they're carrying on to some baggage, whether it's cosmic, past lives, what have you, if you're going to believe down that route. If people need to get some healing in, what kind of advice do you have for people then?
Well, I would say respect your boundaries and respect your passions. You know what you can and cannot handle, and know what inspires you and ignites you, so that your engine can continue to run, so that you don't stagnate and get energy blocks. But have boundaries too, so that your creative energy doesn't get infected by belief systems that you're not in agreement to. Don't worry about what other people think, but, practice the basic laws of integrity, and I know we'll all do fine. I say let's celebrate responsibly, but, if you go to excess or deficiency, forgive yourself, and let's all hold hands and lift each other up and laugh it off without the judgment. But let's commit to being decent people to one another.
Yeah, I think the internet has changed the way that we talk to people. I've seen some really vicious, and I feel like the percentage is higher. So my question would be then, let me pose the question to you this way, Laura. If you agree with me when I say that I've seen and read more vile, vicious, angry, mean-spirited stuff than I heard spoken in high school, for example. Like, there were always a couple of jerks that were always really mean to people, but online it seems like there's a lot of them. I don't know if they're all congregating or something about that energy's drawing them. So I guess my question is, do you feel like with the internet people are becoming more rude in conversations with each other, or do you think it's exposing who they really were all along?
I think it's almost all of the above. It's that thing when we take that exam. We have A, B, C, D, E, all the above, or the next one, none of the above. Those options exist. Sometimes it's very disappointed. Sometimes there will be an opinion from one side, but it's not about the one side. It might impact people on a universal level. There might be something that a Republican says or a Catholic person says that uplifts everyone, and there might be something that somebody who's atheist or who's a total victim, there might be a nugget they share that changes everyone. And there is always that place within yourself that will always change you, because we are alchemists. I mean, we are the most powerful thing ever. But the beauty of unity consciousness is that we're here to remind each other what we're made of. So we have to recognize that oneness is diversity in harmony. Our job is to figure out the harmony part. How can we harmonize this? And when something affects us, when something offends us, how can we express it without creating war and opposition to a greater degree than the opposition we're already feeling? Or else we're just spinning in circles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I can you expand on the "we are alchemists" part? You know, that's an area that I've been digging into a little bit deeper. Before I give you my thoughts on it, I just want can you expand on that part? Just people understanding their role in this video game that we're in.
Well, when we look at the four elements, earth, air, fire, water, the fifth element is ether, and ether helps to shift us from carbon-based to crystalline, and out of the control matrix into the silicate matrix. You know, it's like a caterpillar into a butterfly. It's a powerful transformation. We all have the codes or divine template to be able to get us there. But as we come into this human form, we can't spread ourselves too thin. We all have our own particular role in order to activate that greater consciousness. The greater consciousness helps to connect us in the higher dimensional energies that are beyond physical. We need to download it into the physical so the physical can begin to raise its vibration. And then it itself experiences the alchemy and transformation. And that's what ascension is.
And is that the goal? That's like the final boss in this video game? We got to go get ascension?
Yeah.
Or like, what are we supposed to be doing while we're here? I've been having some existential questions myself too.
Well, everybody, you know, is entitled to their own goal. We don't all have to want ascension. We might want to hang out for a while and just look around and just maybe even manifest illness and disease and injury to really understand what it means to be an alchemist. And there are others that are like, okay, I'm ready. Let's just do this alchemy thing. Let's wake everybody up. Let's just go. Everybody is where they're at. I mean, I would say the ultimate goal, though, is to get rid of the toxicity and the blockages so that we can really feel into the flow. But, I mean, I feel like everything is a part of a process that if we can embrace, you know, we can be real teachers to other civilizations that aren't necessarily on this planet, as other civilizations have come to try and help us. But we have to keep ourselves in check. We don't want to go into those negative ego constructs or that sort of self-righteousness where we think, you know, we're doing what should be done. We have to honor free will. The best thing that we can do is, you know, our side of the street clear and pick up trash on the beach when we see it and encourage people to want to support the purification of the elements without being, you know, abusive about it. There's abusiveness that people won't even recognize because they have sort of a, I mean, when you look at the negative ego, it can spin or it can, like a pendulum, it can be on the end of lack of self-worth or confidence and insecurity. And on the other end, it can be very self-righteous and very overbearing. But I think we can all agree that we need to protect those that don't have a voice, the innocent, the children, nature, and preserve it. Because that is what's going to heal everything is recognizing our role as guardians of this. As the guardians have come to assist us in waking up to this. I mean, that's why they're called the guardian races. But we have to understand we're also the guardians too. And as far as DNA tinkering, we were genetically modified, but our true essence, for most of us, is this higher dimensional energy. Unless you really, really sign up to be a player in the dark side, we all share the same potential.
So, the people that sign up in the dark side, what is the motivation behind that? Why does someone pick that? Is it the same reason why they play Grand Theft Auto, so you can just cause mayhem and be a really bad guy for a while?
Yeah, something like that. Well, when you look at the very beginnings, you're looking at a very tight-knit family, and it's easier for things to get taken personally and for feelings to get hurt and for misunderstandings to happen. And then all of a sudden you have digressed races and fallen angelics and, all of a sudden you have control agendas and technologies that are going to tinker with timelines. And it's like, well, geez, we all could have just hung out and talked a little bit longer instead of all this craziness. But, we're all family. It's just, we're in this huge collective therapy and rehabilitation process. And so the duality of good and evil is really, that shadow of, do you feel loved? Do you feel like you're abusing power? Probably not, because you wouldn't notice. But, let's shine the light on ourselves and ask ourselves these questions.
You said something earlier about removing the toxicity and blockings. Give us just some regular day-to-day things people can do to help remove some of the toxicity in their lives and some of the blockages that are holding us back. Just some everyday tips and tricks and strategies if you got a few.
Well, creativity, we're always creative. From the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed at night, pay attention to how you're feeling and what you're thinking. What happened in your dream time. Keep a journal. I think every time we get triggered, whether it's a challenging trigger or a trigger of inspiration about maybe something we want to do with our life, we should write it down. This is what I, do with my clients. Let's pay attention to the things that grab our attention, and instead of sweeping it under the carpet, let's take notes and let's work with it. Because we are the ultimate medicine, but we also, we can be our worst enemy. And nature holds the medicine and the keys, but so do we. So nature supports our process. It guides us into epiphanies and revelations. And it also holds things that can poison us. Same thing. We're a replica of the outer world. Nature is a living embodiment of our own inner soul. And so the more familiar we are with it, the more, we recognize how to bring the antidote and poison together, to begin to spin the cells faster, and to recognize the electromagnetic waves and the electric and magnetic energy of the masculine and feminine that are wanting to come into union. And then from there, it's like we're lifting away the veils and we're moving into our multidimensional awareness. So, we don't have to be victims to all this. There's great healing in the greatest moments of adversity. That's sometimes when we recognize our genius. And sometimes when we have the greatest blessings, we take them for granted and we have to lose them to recognize the worth. So, this is a bit of a school. We can't let it crush us. We just have to recognize that we're here for soul development and spiritual development, and then we can move on to the next level. We don't have to save Gaia. She's multidimensional. She's holding space for all different levels of our experience.
Okay, so I used the phrase, I likened this experience to a video game. I really keep going back to that on so many different levels, but you just kind of reference it as a school. And that's, that's one of the ancient traditions, one of the ancient things, the historical teachings of all different races.
I think soul development, the whole school thing is sort of an old paradigm terminology. So
Okay.
If I said that, it's really meaning for soul and spiritual development, and it is like a video game, though, I agree. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to.
No, not at all. No,
that.
So school is not what you're saying. Give me another analogy. Okay, you're kind of digging the video game thing, but it's development. What's something else people develop then? Like a film place. Remember those where you'd Have to go develop your pictures?
We develop discernment. We develop wings. We develop blossoms, but we also develop decay and death and rebirth. We got to understand the cycles. Then we can start to understand the infinity spiral, and the fact that it all kind of recreates and feeds itself. We just have to come up with better ideas and better stories.
Yeah.
That's the power of nature. The number 8 even, the infinity spiral, goes from higher dimensions and into physical matter, and it keeps spiraling, but what keeps changing is the type of information and input that is in that spiral. And the quality of that information determines the health of the organism that's carrying that. And we all carry it because we all have a connection to it. The back of our head, the base of our skull, and our third eye creates that crazy 8 spiral. And there's a lot of other places where that spiraling effect happens.
So do we need to be doing more meditation and that type of stuff?
I think CBD oil and things that help to raise our frequency are really important. Essential oils, good food, good water, ionic minerals, Himalayan salts where we can get all the minerals, just to really resupply our body with what it used to have. And then the DNA will know exactly what to do, and it'll just upgrade. We don't have to put a lot of effort into it, but, if we're depleted, then we're struggling along, and it's easy to, get stuck in programmings or other people's opinions or ancestral DNA damage.
Yeah, well, see, and that's the thing. The thing that I've always tried to figure out, and maybe I haven't spent nearly enough time doing it, but I haven't really taken the time to think and to dig deep into past life regressions and the stuff that, the baggage that follows me before I show up. Before I'm even doing anything, there's this whole other batch of stuff that really has nothing to do with me, except, it totally does. So that's something I don't.
Agreement.
The agreement, the previous agreement, and this is why we're here right now, because so basically, and this is the way I describe it. It's like we wrote the script in advance and said, I want to go through this, I want to be in this scene, I want to interact with these people in this scenario, and I want to learn this lesson, this lesson, this lesson. And then all of a sudden you're flashy thinged, like in Men in Black, where you lose your memory right there, and you get birthed, and you have to go through the thing that you just wrote. Is that what you're kind of getting at there with the agreements, the things that we already said we want to do?
Well, I think there's the things like intention, the things we want to do. Then there's the things that our genetics program us to do. And then there's our passion and inspiration that can change all of it. And that's where the alchemy comes in. Where can you push the envelope? Where can you reach beyond what was given to you? And it goes the other way around, too. The greatest masters, they might want to digress and experience what it's like to be human. And that's why we're all in human form, right? Spirits having a human experience. And I keep saying, okay, I think we got the point. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually love that. That's one of my favorite phrases. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're not humans having a spiritual experience. You got it backwards. I also love that phrase where
I love that.
I know, it's so good. It's the best way to think about it. It's almost like an Avatar. Did you see Avatar?
Yes.
Where it's like you're it's like you're sitting in a chair somewhere with a virtual reality goggles on, and then you start to think that world is your world, but you're really just sitting in a chair somewhere. This is just this is pretend. This is a video game. This is a movie. This is, here, go run around and have some fun, have an experience, and come back. It's like, I don't know, like the little egg timer goes off. It's like, all right, time to get out of the chair. You're like, oh, I was just having fun. Wait your turn. You'll go back. Okay. It's just an interesting.
Right, we were just about to kiss too.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot like dreaming. How many times, like, you could be falling, and right before you hit, you wake up, or you could be having an amazing dream, whatever that means, and you're right at a certain point, and you wake up right there, you're like, oh, come on, that was gonna be cool. I would have enjoyed that part of my dream. It's
It almost seems like a cliche thing to say about dreams, but it's not. Like, literally at that moment where like a whole dimensional shift is going to happen. And like Robert Plant and I were like going to be married. So many dreams. Like, but then it wasn't like, he's a rock star, so of course everybody likes him. I'm like, no. I mean, we go so far back, it doesn't even matter.
Well, there's that phrase, a taste of honey is worse than none at all. Where you get so close. It's like the Cleveland Indians on the flip side of being a Cavalier fan. They went to Game 7. They went to extra innings before losing. You can't get closer to winning a championship and losing than we just did. It's one of those, you're ready to have this amazing dream, and right at the last second, you're kicked in the teeth. Oh! And I think I get to live a lot of these experiences out through sports. I think sports can become addicting and overwhelming if you jump into that world and let it take over your life too much. I've probably been there, but it's because I care so much, and I'm through putting that much investment into it, I hope that I'm learning the life lessons that I took out of it when I was playing, basketball and football and tennis. I'm trying to take those experiences and almost like those are my virtual reality glasses. I put the goggles on for a second. Now I'm 6'8". My name's LeBron, and I'm probably the best all-around basketball player that's ever walked on Earth. That's right. You live vicariously.
Right. They chose that timeline because that was so important. That is such an amazing observation, though, even if you didn't mean to say it. Like, sports were so important for me. Like, I lived to play, and even to this day, and I know ping pong isn't considered a sport, but
yes, it is. I consider it a sport.
Yeah, but I was always like, soccer, canoeing, sailing. Like, I mean, my background is wilderness expedition leadership in every sport you could possibly do. So, oh my gosh, like if I am not doing something and I don't see a ping pong table, yes, I will be thrown into some sort of, and it's not like I want to compete, but I like seeing the metaphors. I actually remember making sure that other family members won. I didn't like necessarily winning, but sometimes I felt really bad, like, oh my God, I don't want anybody to feel like I'm, but I do. I love sports, and I just glad you brought up that metaphor because I'm really like, I'm behind a computer a lot. My next phase was landscaping, and that was keeping me active, but I mean, the way the spirit is, though, when people keep up with sports, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't have a judgment on it, but the human spirit sort of needs that to come out of that duality, and that's, at the end when everybody's high-fiving, winners and losers, we're all sticking together here, and we can laugh at it. Those are labels.
Yeah. I mean, the Cavs got so close to it the year before, but Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love got injured, and the Warriors got their one championship, and they had it all locked up. And you know what? To come back to it, the word of the day is cocky. Nothing sums that up more than Draymond Green and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and these guys over on the Warriors. So there are tons of life lessons to take out of this. We are getting a master class from perhaps the best athlete ever to play any sport ever. Challenge me that an athlete has been more, and it's just so weird as a Cleveland fan to be at the mecca of the sports world like that with the Cavaliers, with the Indians. There are tons of life lessons to extrapolate from there. There's no getting around it. There's so many lessons you can take from business, from family, but we all need to work on some things. We all probably overindulge in some areas. We probably all wish we were doing some things differently or working a different job or, made different decisions or, in 5 years I want to be here, but how do I do that? And, there's so much that we need to heal on ourselves. Every day you get another weird lesson.
Oh, that's so awesome. I mean, it's the acceptance. I mean, when you think about it, there's that macro, micro. Some people will have a great home and a family and maybe a lot of kids, and maybe others will have pursued a sports career. Maybe others, just a huge mission, and maybe others have it all. But are we missing anything? No, we get to inspire each other. We get to also be catalysts. The larger picture is that we're the wholeness of every puzzle piece. The part we, choose to play doesn't make us any less than. It's part of the experience. I mean, that's why when we look at past lives, sometimes it's radically different, a completely different gender than what we're carrying right now.
Yeah, I see. I haven't spent.
Gender, but we know what's that?
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the circumstances can be anything. When we think of the extremes of hot, cold, but what about every single nook or notch on that thermometer or measurement? You know, it's either the blue or the red, but every little line, the millimeter, the centimeter, the centigrade, the Celsius, the Fahrenheit. I mean, those all give us these like personalities and stories. But yeah, we're either going to be hot or cold, and you better either have a hat or a flip-flop or a jacket.
Yeah. Hey, but hold on though. How many people have gone through this? Growing up for 2+ decades in Ohio, how many people have gone on the same car ride from cranking the heat to turning the AC on, or vice versa? You know, like we're constantly balancing things. We're constantly reevaluating and.
Totally. I didn't mean to cut you off. Exactly. Right.
That's the whole point of this. No, it's okay. We're on like a delay. So part of today has been us trying to figure out. Wait, is that a second or a second and a half? We're talking over each other a little bit, but it's okay. No, but I mean, look, I just had the lesson. You know, I said that a taste of honey is worse than none at all. But you know, I just got word. I'm planning a reunion for my high school. Go figure. But, you know, just got word another person from our class just passed away. And you go, man, these are some young people. These are some young people that are passing away. And you go, wow, well, they got a taste of honey. Is that worse than none at all? Or was it great living 3 decades, 4 decades? And you just, you know, it makes you think about how much time do I want to spend in this experience doing something that I don't love? I think that's maybe the thing I'm trying to figure out right now. At what point do you just dive all in and say, I'm gonna sink or swim. I'm gonna figure this out one way or another. I'll eat ramen noodles if I have to, but I'm gonna just try this.
Oh my gosh, you remind me of like what it means to grab it and just say, "Who are you? What are you? What am I? What is this?" And let's just do this. And like, yeah, you might sleep in, but you know what? You don't need to push yourself to the max. You're having the fullest experience because you're pushing about as many envelopes as a person possibly could while still being super chill, super loving, super accepting, and knowing what love still is at the end of the day. I think you're a living example. I think you're a freaking living example of like how to like do it right.
Well, look,
people aren't doing it right. I could say the same thing to them.
Right.
But seriously, like, you remind me of people I went to high school with. I think we must be, I know I'm way older than you, but I mean, you know what I mean.
You know, no, I don't. I don't know how old you are. I'm 37, 20th anniversary coming up. 20-year high school reunion. Go figure.
Okay, right. I'm 43, so I mean we're not that far apart, but
yeah, but I think we're both on the border of Gen X or something, whatever they called it, this generation.
Yeah,
but
we're that weird, yeah, you know.
But I think this was a great time to make that transition, especially with the age of the internet. You know, we're not so young. Look, I think our generation, we can actually still spell in full sentences. We can. Current generations, everybody has something different, but I think where we're at, we're really walking in the best of both worlds right now. I really think a massive shift has occurred, and we're not too far on the spectrum either direction. I think we're right in the sweet spot to really become the alchemists that we're supposed to be and grab a couple of the strings that control what happens while we're here. And while we're doing it, just say, look, hang on, let me steer this for just one day. Give me one day, and if I don't screw it up, give me a second day. I have an idea. I want to try this. Let's try to turn this world into something cool here for a minute. Just hold on. If I don't crash the car, let me keep driving it. And you collectively link arms with a bunch of other people, and you say, this is where we're going, this is where we are. And there's no conversation because the people just take it there. I really think we're in the middle of that right now, and it's just, having another person, leave this experience, before they even got to 4 decades, you just go, wow, okay, it's nice to plan in case you're going to be 90, but how long do you want to be doing something that really doesn't energize you, that doesn't speak to your soul, it doesn't make you sing, it doesn't make you... I don't know, if it's not that thing, what's the point? Why are we doing this? So I think a lot of people are thinking that.
What is the point to have our kids wheel us around? And I'm even saying at this day and age, I'm like, where's my adult stroller? I've always been physically active, but right now I need to chill out. I don't want to be a senior citizen, but I can admit when I need to be pushed around. The airport. And, maybe have somebody spoon-feed me applesauce because I'm, completely getting a major download. I don't know. Let's all just listen to each other.
Hey, I've needed assistance in an airport before. It's not fun. It was right after. Yeah, it was not fun. But you got to admit it. You just got to do it when you got to do it.
Yeah, totally. And I'm so ready to just bounce back from all this weird stuff, all that targeting, crazy, it gets weird because there's that whole, we're going through this process and we're trying to upgrade our DNA and we're humans and we are born into this, but then there's this targeting, if you start to awaken, there's things that will try and shut you down and shut you up. And that's not an easy thing to navigate. And I know you and me and other, we get those so-called attacks, but remember, just like the immune system, it gives you the opportunity to become your superhero self.
Go on.
But we got to nurture the humility, because the minute we think it's us, it doesn't mean it's not us, but the minute we think it's only us, we start to get in trouble, I feel.
Well,
and the minute we recognize the greater power and the divinity within nature and ourselves, I feel like we honor it and we hold that true respect, and we can really appreciate what true spiritual abilities are without being dependent on technology or things that are external.
We try to keep a positive attitude, and we try to become the alchemists and craft things into the direction we want to. But I've tried explaining to people why I'm doing what I do, and why I'm spending so much time working on stuff like this, why I believe in it so strongly. And it just came out the other day, and I just kind of blurted out or mentioned, I said, I'm a monster hunter. I think I've identified some really creepy people trying to do some really creepy stuff, and I want to be the night watchman. I want to stay up and let you guys sleep for a little bit. We'll take turns. Don't make me be out here all night every night. I don't want this full time, but I will. I'll just be the night watchman and keep the trouble away from your doorstep so that you can sleep soundly. And I think being a monster hunter, you find out. I mean, you don't lightly use the word demonic. When we put that in the title last time, we weren't just exaggerating. We were kind of saying it literally. There are really dark forces that have been controlling this game for a long time. And I suppose you noticed the 100-year-old man that passed away, that was one of the biggest puppet masters of all time, right?
No, I missed it. What's his name?
Rockefeller. Yeah.
He died?
Uh-huh. He's had like 6 heart transplants or something like that. Yeah, just absolutely when you put a face to this whole thing, this whole power grid thing that's crumbling, that literally is the face. But, once again, do you feel like doing this and putting yourself out there, Laura, do Does it always come natural, or do you have to just kind of talk yourself into it 10% of the time, half the time, ever?
Well, everything you were just saying, I was like, oh my gosh, you're a champion of the inner child. So of course it comes natural to you. So it's funny that you just asked me this question, because I was like, and then you were like, oh, and then so-and-so just died. I'm like, whoa, what? That's hilarious. No, it does come natural, but I mean, I sort of dance around life. I live between the lines, and I don't know where to put myself, and I don't always feel comfortable at all. I really don't know how to function in the human body. A lot of it is because they don't want me to, but I really always have had an issue with it. Not out of judgment, but just out of sheer, okay, what is this? Is it, and then I ask myself, is your reason for not being able to fully identify because of trauma and you've just been thrown out of your body, or because you've been all these other things? I mean, what is it? Or you're higher dimensional, or, you are the queen of the guppies in the lowest level of pond scum. I don't know. But I've studied a lot of my inner world and astrology and tarot and everything like that. And I do readings all the time, so it always kind of keeps me in that space of looking at energy on this level.
Right.
But I would say my mission comes naturally to me, but doing simple human things, no.
I had a buddy in high school. I won't out him. My friends will know exactly who I'm talking about. But I mean, book smart for days. But you would go to the mall with him, and he'd spend 20 minutes walking around looking for something. He can't find it. He walks away like it's the big display right in front of him that he's been walking around the whole time. Like, no common sense and tons of book smarts. So I mean, everybody's gifted with a different grab bag of skills, I suppose, almost like it's one of those MPG video games, and you get to level up and power up, but you can only do so much at one time, or you're building your character on Madden, and he can be only so tall, but he can be so, whatever the case. But, yeah, it's a strange...
But it's funny. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just right when somebody thinks they got me pegged, like, oh, she doesn't know anything about this or that, then it's like, oh my God, he's been connecting dots about this from, day one of some prehistoric underworld, other dimensional DNA knowingness. I mean, I went most out of touch with reality for the senior class. And people didn't even know I was related to Eisenhower in high school. And they didn't even know what to think of me with my interviews. They were like, what?
Yeah, your first exposure to Laura Eisenhower. I'm telling you, it should be one of the lectures, though. Laura, I know that these shows get awesome because it's so unscripted. We kind of allow it to run its course, and you just kind of plug into whatever energy's flowing that day, and you just go for that ride. That's why I like that. But yeah, if you go to some of Laura's lectures, you will enjoy it. The things that are scripted out and planned and what have you. Laura, let's do this then. You mentioned the tarot stuff. We've been on for about the time we're gonna get running here in a couple minutes, but I want you to explain how you connect with people in the tarot thing, because you were gracious enough to do that for me over at Conscious Life Expo. I don't know, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was. Tell everybody about what you do with that and what they can get from it and how they connect with it for that.
Okay. And I do notice a delay, because I do apologize if I interrupted at all. So I do astrology and tarot readings, and they basically are based on your own energetic blueprint, while also honoring the fact that we have a collective blueprint that is very simple in a lot of ways. The tarot shows us archetypes. When we look at a deck of cards, there's 78 cards. When we look at a tarot deck, there's 22 major arcanas in those 78 cards. When we look at a zodiac, there's 12 signs now there's a 13th sign, and there's actually a 14th, 15th. I mean, as the sun journeys beyond what we're used to, we get in touch with those things. So the zodiac with 12 signs has many, many aspects. Each sign has a planetary ruler. 2 signs out of the whole zodiac have the same planetary ruler. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So it sort of adds even more different types of qualities of those different archetypes. But the whole point is that there's so many different ways to express all of this. And what I like to do is help you to feel comfortable in who you are, and help you to. I almost see myself like giving you the key. How can you get into the 0 point? How can you step away from a certain amount of influence from the lower octaves of some of these planetary bodies and genetics, so that you can move into a higher dimensional frequency, and then teach the physical, not necessarily through instruction, but through joy and commitment and devotion to yourself. How can you start to bring that into the galactic? Because the thing is, our 12th strand is beyond 12. Our 7 chakras are beyond 7. We got more chakras than that. So I like to take people on sort of an exploratory journey using the tools of the zodiac, tarot, and also clairvoyance. I went to a clairvoyant institute for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, and a lot of it's just, meditation and fine-tuning abilities that we all have. I mean, everybody's psychic. Everybody's got this stuff. So I just want people, my goal is that people walk away feeling empowered and feeling like they can use this instead of the dependency paradigm, which is what the government is and what religion is. That's not the kind of reader I am, but yet there are readers that will do that to you.
Hey, expand on the dependency paradigm.
Well, it's all externalized, You need me in order to be able to do this. And yes, we all have our roles, and we all need to share and contribute our part. But there's an exchange, though. And if that exchange is out of balance, something called unhealthiness results, or disease. And so ultimate wellness comes from balance. And in balance, we find that center point, and that center point begins to help us to teleport the heck out of here. But it doesn't mean that we lose the physical, and that's where there's a lot of misunderstanding about what ascension truly is. So I just like to use these tools to help people find their comfort level. I don't want to push them into anything. That's why I like to ask questions and just feel into what's important for you. You're your own divine manifestation. You don't have to do this in any other way than how you feel best. But let's look at the basic laws and principles, that create karma, and at least honor that level of understanding, because we are in a free will universe and we don't need to create, traps for ourselves. But if you want to, by all means. I might say things and suggest things, but, I'm not here to take away the experience, and people might share things that I might not have thought of, or I might see something in a reading that activates me. I'm not in a higher position here. We share energy. I've chosen to learn how to interpret it, while others, play their role that I benefit from on some level, unless it's total matrix programming, sort of, unhealthy and artificial. That I can't go for. That's not healthy for me. But you know what I mean. I think, I know what I mean, of course.
Yeah, well, I think in general, the unhealthy things are unhealthy for most people, most of the time. That's why some of these age-old tenets and all these life lessons that different religions try to teach, at least before they get screwed up along the way somewhere, it's basically trying to be a decent human being. It's basically people trying to teach the other people how to be cool. Come on, here's how you live a better life. Some of them obviously screw it up along the way. Some of them abuse it for power and control. It is what it is. But yeah, it's Grand Theft Auto. Sometimes you can play as the bad guy. Sometimes you can do the good stuff. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I don't know necessarily how I want to finish up this ride on it. This day at Disneyland. Because it really is. It's a choose your own adventure book. And that's the thing I think people miss, Laura, is...
You were born in that era where you know what those books are. And you can laugh at some of those 70s commercials. I love it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
But yes, it is choose your adventure book. Not everybody knows what those books are. So you might... Let's just tell everybody what those are. You might have... Probably were going to do it anyway. I didn't mean to jump in.
Laura, you explain what they are. I love these things, and I want to hear your experience. Because I would probably... Go ahead. I'm going to stop talking. Go.
Well, you read, and I'm not much of a reader, but, you're pick out a book, and it's called Choose Your Own Adventure, and it's got a particular theme, and you're reading, and then you'll get down to the bottom of the page, and it'll give you options. Like, you want this to happen. It's almost like choosing timelines. Like, would you like to go, with Joe, or would you... like to ditch the boat and maybe hang out for a little while on shore, or would you like to give your mother a call and reunite with your family? And there might be 3 choices, and you make a choice, and then you start to follow the pages that relate to that choice you make, and you're reading a completely different book.
Would you like to slay the dragon or run? Go to page 72 or 14. So you're like, oh, I got that dragon. I'm going to totally get him. Oh, I died. Wait a minute. No. I didn't pick that. And so you go back to that original page. You go, I want to go to page 14. That's what I really meant to do. See, I did it right. But that was the fun.
You spend your whole life with just one of those books while you play out every different scenario.
Of course.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, like Mad Libs or something. It's endless options. Okay, Laura.
Oh my God, Mad Libs are best.
I know, we're bringing up all the classics. From Mad Libs to Choose Your Own Adventure. Listen to Agree to Disagree with Laura Eisenhower. Yeah, I'll cut that out, use that as the liner. Anyway, okay, Laura, tell people where they can connect with you if they want to get some tarot readings. We'll wind this down here, but I definitely want people to know how to find you, what the best way to say hello. I want to get one of those readings. How do you do that?
Okay, well, there's going to be 2 customized sit and spins, if you remember what those are.
Yeah.
Okay, so LauraEisenhower.com, and basically information about the events. I got to update my website, but just click under reading. You'll see an online calendar. You can donate through PayPal. It's probably good to just email me and make sure that the times are good. I don't have a way to update things very quickly, and I travel a lot. But, it's great. I do a half hour, I do an hour, I do 90 minutes, 2 hours. But I can sign whatever you like. I mean, that's just the foundational piece. And, we look into archetypes and ancestral patterns and things that need to be released, things that you want to integrate, questions about relationship and sacred union, ways to upgrade into these ascension energies and step into your purpose. And the thing is, we all have a divine purpose and that we have in common. But, what makes you thrive and healthy and balanced and whole? And that's what I'm here to help you do.
Heck yeah. All right. So check it out and definitely follow her on Facebook. Man, you've turned into a jazz musician. You've been like scatting on your Facebook for a couple of days.
Yeah, my cat, I got back from Hawaii. I've just been swimming with dolphins, and I had a big scare. And what's funny is I like to play around with words, and I'm just kind of sitting there, and I'm just sort of drank some coffee, and then I realized, oh my God, I I'm like, maybe I should delete some of this. But yeah, I like this creative expression, and sometimes when I'm stressed, it's my medicine. So, I mean, I think people probably don't know what to make of me at times, but it's fun to just I don't know, like use words as a way to be creative, even if it doesn't make sense. There's underlying codes there. Everybody seems fine, and kids are good, and thank you so much for having me on the show, and everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, that's LauraEisenhower.com. Come see me at the New Living Expo in San Mateo at the end of April. If you're in Europe, I'm in Poland with Stuart Swerdlow, and there's a lot of stuff going on, but one event that I would love you to come to is 2018 Uluru in Australia. I'll be a keynote speaker there.
Australia. There's your excuse, everybody. Go to Australia. Say Laura made you do it. Laura, thank you very much. We will not wait another year for a show. We will talk again soon. Maybe contact in the desert, something. We will keep this conversation going. But thank you again for being a part of the program, and we will continue this conversation later. Thank you so much, Laura.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Good night.
There she goes, everyone. Go check her out, Laura Eisenhower. My name's Brian Engelman. You've been listening to the Agree to Disagree program here at thenewamericanmedia.com. Subscribe, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. On Twitter at American_media_. Our Instagram game is strong. Follow us. We'll talk to you soon. Take care and peace.
Hi, everybody. You're listening to Agree to Disagree with Brian Engelman, and this is John B. Wells reminding you that not only is Brian Engelman a cool guy, and not only is the NewAmericanMedia.com a very cool platform, but here's a cool idea for you, too. Are you alone? Not really. Do you like dogs? Do you like cats? You do. Of course you do. Everybody does. One or the other, maybe even both. You know, there are a lot of dogs and cats that are at shelters right now, and if somebody doesn't take them home, they're going to wind up euthanized. That's a nice way of saying they're going to be killed, because there's simply not enough room. I guarantee it, the best dogs and the best cats, the best pets, come from shelters. There's something about dogs and cats. They know. They know where they are. You walk through one of them, and certainly at least one is going to look at you and go, I wish you'd take me home. I'm in hell. Please take me out of here. It'll be the best thing that you ever did for your soul. You'll feel good about it. And not only that, but you have a friend for life. Doesn't matter if you got money, you don't have money. Well, it doesn't make any difference to a dog or cat. All they need is the sound of your voice and maybe even the stroke of your hand, and they're fine. Maybe a little food every once in a while. The sweetest sound that those pets ever hear is your voice. Think it over and adopt a cat or a dog from a local shelter today. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did.